Hello, free people of the Rocky Mountain region. This is Brandon from Free State, Colorado, and I hope you're doing well. The special session is over, but I really wanted to share this testimony, and I really hope it encourages you to go down to the state capitol and speak in committee hearings. We need more people, more good pro-liberty Coloradans to participate in our legislative process. I can't tell you how empowering it is to sit 10 feet away from some of these legislators, look them in the eye, and tell them how wrong they are. That taxation is theft, that they're robbing our future from us. And that's particularly clear in the testimony you're about to see. So I was down there at the special session. Natalie Menten, also a great Liberty leader, lucky to sit next to her on this panel as we were testifying to this committee, the State Civic, Military, and Veterans Affairs Committee, which truly was a kill committee during the special session in the State House. So this was Thursday, August 21st, and you got to hear what Natalie has to say. We're talking about a bill called House Bill 1020, and this was an attempt to repeal the taxes on overtime here in Colorado. If you don't remember, earlier this year during the regular legislative session from January to May, the Democrats passed a bill to ensure that Colorado is going to continue taxing overtime pay. It's absolutely outrageous, egregious, and an attack on Colorado workers. This bill would have rectified that, would have repealed this requirement to tax overtime, giving hardworking Coloradans the extra money they need to make ends meet. So Natalie had some really impassioned, powerful testimony that I really want to share with you today, and then I'll show you mine as well. But this is so important, folks, to get involved, to show up at the state capitol. So let's listen.
Ms. Menten, will you please, you can wrap us up.
Thank you. Natalie Menten here representing myself. I have an intimate history with the RTD decision that came about. That all stemmed from what was run in, I believe it was 2010, called the Dirty Dozen set of bills, which included a lot of what was, in theory, housekeeping, to change policy here, a plus here, a minus there. At the end of the day, it was meant to increase revenue. It was meant to increase revenue. And when the changes on food, which is what one of the bills was created, essentially RTD followed that. They said it was de minimis. That's baloney. I have the original RTD document. It was meant to increase revenue. 1296. I had described it in testimony as a big old bowl of spaghetti. So much stuff wrapped up in that bill. End of the day, it was meant to increase revenue. The special session, meant to increase revenue. Tabor didn't say anything about de minimis. It doesn't. The court decided to put that in there with, of course, public lawyers paid on our dollars from RTD to basically overturn the voters' will. The question is, why do we not want to have voter consent? Why are some people so afraid of voter consent? So we run these bills at the state capitol and we run them through fast, hard, and at the end of the day, it's meant to take more money from taxpayers. I fully support this bill. Voters, what is present here is clearly stated in Tabor, and a policy change resulting in a net revenue increase needs to go to the voters. Consent, simple word, C-O-N-S-E-N-T, consent, so simple, so beautiful. Why don't we want it? This bill should be put forward. I cannot believe, and I'm not going to specify one person because I've heard it from several, that somehow the big beautiful bill cut the Tabor refunds. Hogwash. The Family Affordability Tax Credit, FATSI, that took money from people it did not deserve to take money from. That is what happened in Chris Kennedy's bill of theft. That's what happened with 1311. We have taken now $830 million away from taxpayers from the refunds they deserve because they paid money into the system, and the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights is not a collective. It is a singular possessive, and that money stole it. So what has taken away Tabor refunds? The Democrats, largely. Bob Marshall, give him credit. Give him a thumbs up. I'm not sure of how many others I can count. Pass this. Keep the money in these hardworking people's pockets. It is good for the people, and they should take priority over the state.
Thank you so much, Ms. Menten.
Thank you.
Members, what questions do we have for this?
Well, Natalie Menten is a rock star for liberty, that's for sure. I call her that for a reason because to be down there, to have all the facts, to have all that information, and to really speak truth to power. I mean, ultimately, that's what's important. Seeing the look on these legislators' eyes, and you can't really see it down there, but I'm Natalie Menten's on the right there. I'm next to her, and then there's two people from Bell Policy and the Fiscal Institute, two left-wing groups who are trying to raise our taxes, who oppose this idea of letting Coloradans keep money that they earn through overtime. Absolutely ridiculous. We need more people showing up, speaking out, and really having a voice. That's what it comes down to, folks. This is powerful stuff, important testimony. We need to make sure these bills do not pass without any public outcry, without any public concern, because then imagine Natalie's not there, I'm not there, this bill passes, and all they got is going up to committee, and all they have is the Colorado Fiscal Institute, the Bell Policy Center, these groups saying, no, this is a bad bill. Then these legislators can say, see, these are the only people who showed up to testify. And of course, this is a special session. There's such limited opportunity for us to even know what the bills are, how soon they're going to be assigned to committee. Like that morning, we found out they were assigned to this committee. Like we had a plan to be down there all day. And unfortunately, sometimes you have to. But the reality is, folks, politics is a participatory sport. We need more people in the fight. And I hope this encourages you to speak out as well. I do want to play my testimony. I wouldn't say it's as good as Natalie's because she definitely knows her stuff, but it's still important to speak, and I'm glad I did. So let's listen to that.
The floor is yours.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you very much. My name is Brandon Wark, representing myself. And, I know it's no surprise to people that Coloradans are struggling. People are struggling to afford paying their bills. We're in an incredibly unaffordable situation here. I mean, I work at a small family-owned business, and we've had to lay people off this last year. It's not fun. It's not a good situation that we're in. And if we can even do something, even if it's small, I think it's worth doing to help Colorado workers, to help people who've earned that money. It's very important, I think. To take away people's overtime pay, to take even just a small portion of it. Sure, maybe for some people out there, $60 might not seem like a lot. $100 might not seem like a lot, but for somebody, that's their gas bill. That's their ability to get to work. That's their ability to be able to feed their families, their grocery bill potentially. Imagine working 50, 60 hours per week just to provide a better life for your families, and the excitement you might have, the gratitude when you realize that the federal government might be providing some level, even if it's small level of relief. I mean, people need that. And then yet you find out that our state legislature, our state government in its greed says that it deserves this money more than you. To say that the politicians have a better way to spend our hard-earned money for an overtime worker, it's not right. It's totally immoral, and there is no justification for it. I truly believe that people deserve to keep the money they earn, especially their overtime pay. The government does not have the moral right to take it. Is it any wonder that half of Coloradans have considered leaving our state because of the lack of affordability? No, it's not surprising at all. And to have the kind of attitude or mindset that we should be taking their meager $60, $100, whatever it is, because we can use it better than the people who are struggling to get by is not right. The money that people earn should belong to those who earn it. And I think that's the right thing to do. I encourage people to support this bill. I encourage the people of Colorado to be aware of what our state government has done to them by decoupling this federal tax policy, our state tax policy, to the federal tax policy with the bill that was passed earlier this year. It was very telling, the priorities of our state government, as has been said before, that the people of Colorado, to say that they don't deserve a tax break, they don't deserve a tax cut. I mean, I've known people who've worked on overtime, who rely on overtime just to make their bills, get their bills. I've had somebody at my job previously who did that. They had to get a certain amount of overtime just to be able to make their ends meet because it was so tough to live. So I think they deserve to keep that money. I think the majority of people of Colorado would agree with that. And whether you pass this or not today, there is going to be that lawsuit, of course, as we know, and hopefully the voters will be aware of what our state legislature is doing to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to go right over.
Folks, it's so important for us to have a voice, to speak out, to really use it at our legislature. I can tell you so many of these legislators don't expect regular people to show up, to speak out, to talk about these issues. They just expect and hope that these bills pass behind closed doors, in darkness, out of the spotlight and scrutiny of the public. I mean, ultimately, that's what it's about. And I really meant it when I said the voters need to understand what our legislature has done to our state, how that the attacks on workers, on employers, how they've increased the cost of living and just made the basic expenses that we need to survive so much more expensive and so out of reach for so many people. The blame for our situation is squarely at our state legislature and our government officials really at all levels. But ultimately, folks, we can have an impact, we can have a voice. So few people are involved. I really encourage you to speak out, to stand up, and join us next time down at the legislature. Well, thank you very much, and I'm sure we'll talk to you soon.